So the team over at AutoBleem has just released a new version. We are now running version 0.9, and that comes bundled in with Retroboot version 1.1. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to get it loaded up and some of the really cool new features. This is Steve from Restalgia, and let's get started. Alright guys, so as I said, we now have a new version of AutoBleem, and as always I get my releases in advance so I can make these videos, but I will leave all the links to everything in the description down below, so all you need to do is scroll on down and click on it to download what you need. Now this is actually a particularly exciting release for the AutoBleem team because they've actually implemented the ability to install a custom kernel. Now it's important to note, if your console's already modded by BleemSync or Project Eris and you want to use this new kernel, you do need to uninstall the kernel that's currently installed for Project Eris. And at that point, you would not be able to just swap USB drives if you want to try the different builds. You are going to have to pick one and just use one. So if you do want to go ahead with this kernel install, I will leave a link in the description down below explaining exactly how to uninstall Project Eris from your PlayStation Classic. Now that said, this is completely optional. You can still run the new AutoBleem update without installing the kernel, you just won't have access to some of the new features. And those features are going to be things like enabled Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So if you are interested in having Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, you do need to install this custom kernel. But in order to get this thing up and running, it's quite simple. All we need to do is go ahead and grab our files for our new release. I've got them right over here. And we're just going to simply drag and drop them onto our USB drive. Now this is just going to take a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and skip over this process. Alright, so now that our transfer is complete, I am going to mention again that if you want to move ahead with the kernel install, you're going to need to make sure that your USB drive has been formatted as FAT32. Now if you've always been using the front USB port of your console, this isn't going to be an issue for you. But additionally, you are going to want to keep in mind that you do need to use a USB drive that is compatible with the power limiter that is on the USB ports on the PlayStation Classic. Now, I leave links to those in the description down below, but I'm assuming if you've already got your console modded, you probably have access to one anyway. Now, the PlayStation Classic that I am using is currently stock. It does not have any firmware on it. And again, if you do need to uninstall yours, there's a link in the description to a video that will show you guys how to do that. But what we're going to go ahead and do is grab our USB drive and pop it into our PlayStation Classic. Now when we are putting this USB drive into our PlayStation Classic, you're going to want to make sure that there's no power connected, and we're going into the second controller port on the PlayStation Classic. Once that's connected in there and it is securely in, we want to then add the power cord and wait until we get our amber light. And once we have our amber light, we're good to turn this thing on. And we're going to go ahead and switch over to the on-screen view. Alright, so here we are now on AutoBleem, and what we need to do is actually get that custom kernel installed because it doesn't happen automatically. What we need to do is press start to enter into AutoBleem. And then once we get to our carousel where we've got some games, we need to press select on our controller 2 times to enter into the apps section. And if we scroll to the right a few, you're going to see something called Kernel Installer. And this is going to be the application that we are going to use in order to install the custom kernel on the PlayStation Classic. But this is also going to give us access to creating a proper backup of our console just in case things go wrong or if we want to restore it to factory later. So what we need to do is go ahead and hit play. So as you can see, it's going to provide us with a set of on-screen instructions, and this is something that we need to follow. The first thing that it's going to ask us to do is to create a backup, and that's incredibly important like I just mentioned. So we're going to do that first. First we'll hit the OK button with our X key. And now you can see all of our options along the bottom. If we pressed X, it would start flashing our kernel, which we don't want to do. We want to hit the square button to do a full backup. I've already started my backup, and this will take a couple of minutes to do. Once it's done, it's going to take us back to our app section, and we can jump back into it again. So I'm going to go ahead and skip over this. Okay, so that is finished. Now what's essentially happened, and I'll show this on screen really quickly. If you took your USB drive and plugged that into your computer and you opened up the drive, you're going to notice that there is a new file located on your USB drive called LBOOT. You are going to want to take that file and make another copy of it somewhere on your computer where it is safe. That is actually going to be our recovery file, and it's very important that we take care of it and we don't lose it, because we're going to need that in the future if we ever want to revert back to stock, or if you decide to switch back to Project Eris or something along those lines. That being said, now that we have our backup, what we want to do is go ahead and re-enter this Kernel Installer software, and then we're going to go ahead and press X again. And rather than doing a full backup, we are now going to hit the X button to do a Kernel Flash. And now it's going to confirm we want to start the flash, and what's going to happen is it's going to run the flash, and then it is going to reboot the console. So I'm going to go ahead and let that happen, and when it's done rebooting, I'm actually going to connect my USB drive in through OTG just to make sure that is working properly. So we're going to go ahead and get it started. Okay guys, so we are now running on that custom kernel. I've got my USB drive connected in via OTG through the power port on the PlayStation Classic, and now it is functioning 100%. Now I did mention there are a few benefits to having this custom kernel installed on our PlayStation Classic. One of them being that we do have full OTG support with AutoBleem, but we're also able to access Wi-Fi, and we're also able to have Bluetooth dongles now. Additionally, we now have additional file support like NTFS and exFAT, but it is important to note specifically about Bluetooth is that it is currently experimental. Based off the information I have right now, the Switch Pro controller is confirmed working, but they are working towards adding additional support for other controllers and things like that. And another feature that is currently supported now is the wireless keyboard feature. So if you connect in one of those dongles for a wireless keyboard and mouse, it is going to work now, and that will come in handy if you do want to set up your Wi-Fi. Now you don't need keyboard and mouse for that, but it is handy to have because it makes the process a lot quicker. Now, in order to set up Wi-Fi, we need to be on this screen here. We're going to hold our L1 button and we're going to press our square button, and that's going to give us all of our hardware information. Now, as you can see, it doesn't show that I have anything connected, no Ethernet information, no Wi-Fi information, no Bluetooth information. And the reason for that is I haven't set anything up. Now, I don't have a Bluetooth dongle in, but I do have a Wi-Fi dongle. So we're going to hit the select button for Wi-Fi settings. And we're going to go down to SSID, which is going to be our network name. And if we hit scan SSID with the triangle button, it's going to start searching. Now it's going to pop up with a few networks, and that's great. If we see ours there, we're going to select it. If not, we're going to hit the circle button and we're going to go down and change our driver mode. And in order to do that, you just hit the X button and we have two different drivers available. Just test to see which one works best for you. So I've got my network there. I'm going to go ahead and select it. And then I have to enter my password, which I'm going to do really quickly as well. Then we're going to go ahead and hit the start button to confirm it. And I'm not going to show you guys my SSID or my password, but they are going to be in there in plain text so you can verify that the information is correct. Next, what we need to do is hit this right configuration restart network button by pressing X. And it's going to say, do we want to confirm that? We're going to hit yes. It's going to reinitialize the network, and hopefully we're going to be able to get connected in here. What's going to happen now is towards the bottom it says waiting for an IP address, and once it's connected, we're going to see that new IP address display. And there it is. So we've got our IP address and everything else that we need. Now that we are connected in, we want to change our time zone, and we're going to go ahead and jump into that, and you're just going to select the time zone that is closest to you. For me, I'm going to go to America/new_York. We're going to hit X on that. So now we're good to go in terms of this. We're going to go ahead and press the circle button to escape. And as you can see along the top, because now we've set our locale and we're connected into the internet, it's going to tell us the current date and time. As you guys can see, I am up pretty late getting this video done, but it is a cool feature that we've got that there. If we ever need to change anything, we just go back into this menu and press select to access our Wi-Fi settings again. So let's go ahead and back out of here. And that's the majority of the new features in terms of AutoBleem, but as I mentioned, we also got a new version of Retroboot. So I know there's a couple cool features in there, and I'm going to show those to you as well. So what we need to do is press our square button to enter into RetroArch. And here we are, and as you can see, we've got a couple of different things going on. So we've got our playlists ready to go for our different types of games. But additionally, if we hop over to our applications, there's going to be something in there that a lot of people are going to really, really love. And as you can see, we now have Emulation Station alongside all of our other ports. So if we jump into Emulation Station, you're going to see that any games that we have in the games folder on the root of our USB drive are going to be here. Now you may need to move some of your games into the proper folder. On the root of our USB drive, there is a folder called Games, and inside that folder has all of the different console folders that we need for Emulation Station. It's really simple. All you've got to do is load your games up into there and they will populate right in Emulation Station. Now, in terms of different themes or things like that, they're going to be loaded up just like you normally would. If you go into your UI settings, you can go to your theme here and you can adjust them. Now, it only comes preloaded with one theme. You'll have to load more onto your USB drive, but with Emulation Station, you get a ton of flexibility. So it's really, really nice to see this come to AutoBleem. It is something that I think a lot of people are going to take advantage of because the front end is just so clean looking. But that's pretty much all I've got for you guys in this video. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about this. If you have any questions or issues, please comment below. I'll do my best to try to get back to you. Additionally, there's going to be a link for the AutoBleem Discord, so if you actually run into some additional issues, you can always reach out to support there, and they're really quick to help people out. So definitely join that Discord if you haven't already. But like I said, that's all I've got. Thank you so very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button if you like this video, thumbs down if you didn't, and I'll talk to you guys again real soon.